Wow, do I have news for you. I think around the time that I released Frutal Volume 1, I mentioned by the end of the year I'm gonna have Volume 2 out, so I set off to work on it straight away. I was recording everything. I had all the demos done, most of the recordings done as well. I finished the guitars, a lot of the vocals and stuff like that. And then around Christmas time, when I was test exporting a few things, doing a bit of the mixing and stuff like that, my SSD died alongside all of the work in progress for that. And it's very, very silly. I didn't have any of that backed up because it was my work in progress drive, right? So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care about this because all the stuff that I've released, I have all packed up, right? So the only drive that mattered when I was upgrading my PC, when I moved the SSD to the new machine, the only one that died was, of course, the work in progress one, right? And part of me was really bummed out. I was like, man, everything. But then I have this data recovery place not too far away, so I took it away straight away, right? And they said, yeah, maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, we'll have an answer on whether it can be repaired or not. And part of me was also relieved. I was like, we don't need to release anything in a specific time frame, right? We can take our time, we can make sure that we make a better job. And it also gave me time to experiment a bit more with different VSTs, with different effects, with different ways of mixing, with different ways of recording as well. I realized that Frutal 1 did not reach my expectations, like quality-wise. Also, I had a lot of time to look at things that I made in the old days, things that I made 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, etc. I was looking at all this old footage of sketches that I made and realized, wow, I have been recording sketches for songs for at least 15 years. Every year I end up with a pile between, I don't know, 6, 7, up to maybe 20, 25. And I've never released these things. And some of these were actually things that I was like quite proud of, but I never actually took the time to record them. Or in some cases, I didn't have the know-how or the technology or the gear or the instruments to realize that vision. And I'm like, we have time now. There is no rush to release Frutal V2. It will come out eventually. Maybe I'll have to remake a lot of stuff if we can't recover the drive fully. Maybe I'll have to record everything again, which is also kind of good, right? Because we can do it again better in the end. I think you can always learn from these things and apply them in different. You can get bummed out. You can be like, oh yeah, it's all lost. Or you can see it as a way of improving, right? Of sitting down again and making it. You already know this stuff. You already wrote this stuff. You already have the tabs. You already have the lyrics. You have all this stuff prepared. Just do it again, but better. So yeah, we can always stay positive. We can always find ways of staying positive after something like this happens, right? So anyway, I came up with this idea for this new project where the goal would be to grab all of these things that I've recorded over the years, all of this footage, and properly record it this time. It would be kind of like sitting down with myself from 10 or 15 years ago and playing alongside and then just kind of like jamming and coming up with something new, right? Which is always such a cool thing, just to hear old stuff that you made and think, oh, I could do this better in this way, kind of still capturing that essence of what you made back then, but transforming it in a new way based on everything you've learned over the years. The idea is essentially every single month releasing a year, like the top songs from that year that I recorded. It's not going to be all of them, but at least maybe 6, 7 songs from each year, and recording them and releasing them. So every month in 2025, releasing 1 EP per month. So I started off with 2010 because I really liked the vibe of it and I wanted to put that one out first, and that should be coming out in the next week or so. Then in February I'll record 2009, and then we'll go to 2011 and onwards. We'll see. Maybe they're not going to be in order. It doesn't really matter in the end, right? It just depends on like what I really feel like recording that time. And doing something like this also injects a lot of passion into it, right? Because you're not constrained. You can just do whatever you want to do. So I'm just grabbing years. I'm going to be like, okay, 2012 really had something that right now I feel really passionate about recording. So, right, let's just grab a few songs from then, and then maybe that's the one from March. It doesn't really matter, but I do feel like I want to go back to all of this catalog of all of these old songs and finally put them out there, right? I think 2010 should be out before the end of January or maybe the first few days of February. It depends because it always takes a bit of time to reach the online stores like Spotify and stuff like that. I also host it on my website alongside everything else. And yeah, I really hope you like it, that you enjoy the project, coming along for this ride of discovering old songs and putting them in a new context and actually recording them fully. I don't know if I'm gonna release any music videos and stuff like that. Maybe you know what would be cool? Like if every single album we just go and take some of the old footage and then we morph it or we transition into a new recording or something like that. That might be something we explore, but we'll have to see along the way. Anyway, yeah, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.